how the world really looks is different from how it looks to the senses. Oh yeah, because he was saying, well, I guess that was kind of his conflict with the Milesians when they were saying the argument is which is more reliable, what we see the world to be as or what we reason the world to be as. We can reason the world to be composed of certain things: water, air, earth, fire. Or we can actually look at the system. Heraclitus was definitely on the side that reason is more reliable because our senses that we see, hear and see, and smell and taste are fallible. We can be mistaken. So when we say things like all things are change, we don't see change in the rocks and the mountains, but we do infer that change must be happening. So it's our reason that's telling us that. And so that's why he was a lot more on the side of reason rather than just our physical senses, sensory evidence. And that's about it.
Okay. Anybody?
Yeah.
Giovanna.
Okay, so you mentioned that Heraclitus thought that it was not, in his here, that it's not in human power to escape the circle of destruction and rebirth, right? So then, if the psyche is trying to be excellent and escape, from going from body to body to body, and trying to get back into what you mentioned, the psyche stuff, how does the psyche become excellent?
Yeah, I think, that's one of the things he's kind of obscure about. He would, I think he would want, I think in general he wants people to interpret his things in a number of different ways, the way he writes. Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent question. It might be a contradictory. We could just be guessing, I guess, on what he was actually thinking. I think he was making a distinction that the psyche, the soul, is actually different in existence from the material, physical matter world. Mostly when he says things like all things are change and all things are fire and all things are conflict, I think mostly he was referring to the physical, clumpy matter world, and there's something different that's animating humans and psyche, logos, and that is such of a subjectively different form that maybe the rules are different. Maybe the rules don't apply.
They make it arbitrary. It's just not clear here.
Yeah.
Exactly how it's supposed to go. Somehow he goes along with the system and says it's part of the cycle. There's kind of certain things happen, you somehow get out of it.
It just seems that
Fairly surely he doesn't
Even then,
there's the individuality is going to be lost. What it remains is what's unclear.
even then, he still wasn't saying that the psyche just becomes something completely different. There's still a cycle for the logos. There's still a cycle for the psyche as well, and that cycle, you can't get off that. You have to, even when you become an excellent soul, you're still there as an excellent soul inside of that cycle.
So we, as humans, we can't better our psyches.
Oh yeah, you can.
No.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's not the question. You can't. You can. It's what happens upon death to the psyche. You ask me.
Question of the reward.
You can be better. I mean, you can be better yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. You might
Well,
be perfect. Sean.
It keeps coming back to commenting on that he desired collaboration in his work. And I'm kind of wondering where you're getting that, because from what we got from his background, what kind of person he was, it would seem more that his obscurity was a way to propagate his opinion that he was a better intellect than his contemporaries. So it would seem also that he would obscure things to prove how much brighter he is than them, as opposed as a means for promoting collaboration. So I'm kind of wondering where you're getting the idea that he desired collaboration as opposed to he was just an intellectual snob.
Yeah, well, I don't get that when I read Heraclitus. As I said, Heraclitus is a very, very rich subject.
But you commented,
Yeah.
you made a comment more
Where
than
did you
once.
take the word collaboration?
More than
No,
once.
that was me.
More than
Did
once.
you say
That's-
collaboration?
Yeah, he said it more than once too. So that's why I'm wondering where you drew that from.
Well, I mean, I don't get the impression when I read Heraclitus that he's saying, look at me, how smart I am. I
But
did.
he said that, but you know from historically, that he turned that so supposedly he turned down a kingship because he thought people were dumb.
He thought the masses
He
were-
doesn't believe that these people are his equal.
Those aren't his audience. That's not who he's writing for.
He's not ready for anyone to understand him, obviously. That's why he's so obscure and he talks like he's the oracle. Everyone thinks they understand the oracle, but everyone's always proven wrong by the oracle. So I think, yeah, he kind of was. You know, it says that he has such, like, no faith in humanity itself. He doesn't want to be their king. He doesn't want to associate with any other kinds of people, so he writes so that no one can understand him. I mean, that seems a bit snobbish to me.
Well, the mass of the Ephesians, I think, probably, but I'm not going to say that that's who he was writing for.
I think what he means by collaboration is that the reader has to
Oh, I see.
put
Yeah,
something
yeah,
into
reader.
it.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly right.
The reader has to bring
Yeah.
something to the table in order to understand him because he is so obscure. That's what he meant by collaboration.
When you write like that, you're trying to make people think. You're trying to say, all right, here's something that'll get your mind going in a little while, and see what you come up with it. And he doesn't want to give it all to you like most writers do. Just here's all of the situation. You know, put all the cards on the table. He was more playful. He was a lot more collaborative. That's
But he
what I get.
could still be skeptical of anybody who's actually going to do it.
Sure, this is all subjective. I mean, this is my opinion. I think.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just wondering where you're coming from.
But the collaboration is really good.
He's a wonderful philosopher for just that reason. I enjoy him.
David, go ahead.
What do you think Friedrich Nietzsche meant when he said that no man has ever written more clearly or more lucidly than Heraclitus?
Yeah, Nietzsche took a lot from Heraclitus. So did Hegel. I mean, Heraclitus really is like the foundation for what's known as the Continental School. Nietzsche and Hegel are definitely in Heraclitus's lineage. I think they understood exactly what he was going after. I mean, a lot of what you're saying about Heraclitus, they've said about Nietzsche as well.
I don't agree on that.
They've said a lot, and there's a lot of argument endlessly about it. So.
Let me just add one point. I mean, I think you got on, David. Thank you, David.
Yeah, sure.
You picked up on the notion of collaboration. I think Jeff's right about where that comes from. It has to do with reading. But there is this very interesting issue about Heraclitus. He did have the attitude that humanity wasn't very bright and capable of understanding these things. And yet at the same time, he wants to say, it's not me saying this, right? I mean, it's not as though he at the one time felt he was better than them. At the same time, he wants to say, well, it's not really me, it's the logos speaking through me. And there is this interesting divergence. Right? When we think one thought that everybody else was stupid and I was superior, I'd say, I'm telling you this, right? You got it. He doesn't. He acts so sometimes universal wisdom. Talking. One last thing that David did not mention at the very end, namely that what marks the text that we have of Heraclitus is there is not one single argument in there. These things are all pronouncements, as it were, by the oracle. And that in the end, and this ties back to what David was saying about Nietzsche, that is one of the reasons why philosophers largely have a hard time with Heraclitus and why they tend not think of Nietzsche as much of a philosopher, because he never argues. He just says this stuff. Right? And it's important. So, when I grew up in philosophy, Nietzsche was not read by anybody. He was not a philosopher. He was a Nazi. It's true.
Heidegger was a Nazi.